Paul, where is my book? Thank you. Don't knock the tripod now. Thank you. Blooding welcomings to you all from Richard and Paul's cold house in Cold Street, Cold Village, Cold Town, Cold City, Cold Country. It's cold.
Well, it's warmer today. It's balmy today. It's about 3 degrees, so it's sort of quite balmy, yeah.
I think it's a little bit higher than 3 degrees,
It
Paul.
is, yeah, yeah.
Really? It has been a cold week, but anyway, bloody welcome to you all.
That's it, is it? Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the show, which is called...
Sunday Chat!
Oh, it was a leaf.
We're both feeling a little bit today, yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, you know, it's a full week. It's a very bloody full week. You know, those of you who work full-time will know. I didn't work full-time.
And
I
now
was
you
part-time.
are. Yeah.
I was in a state of luxury.
Yeah, yeah.
Enjoying time, doing things, going out, walking in the country, walking through nature. But now I'm working. I'm grateful.
Just about.
Just about. Oh, well, I mean, you know, they say be grateful, show gratitude. I think it's overrated, frankly. No, it really is. It really is.
No,
I am
think it
always
is.
grateful for everything in my life. But it doesn't make a blind bit of difference when you're knackered from the working week.
No. But I think
Really.
this week the cold has got to both of us.
Well, I know. It hasn't. That's the thing. It hasn't got
has
to
for me.
Well, it hasn't for me. Don't speak for me.
Well, I think it has for you as well.
I'm warm at work.
No, I'm not
Perfectly warm
talking
at
about
work.
sort of warmth. Well, I'm glad you're warm at work because I'm cold when I'm working. But I just think the weather has been cold, and I think it does sort of bring you down a bit.
Well, that's the thing. Don't be mistaken. I'm not down and I'm not
no.
low. I'm pissed off.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, again,
That's
I'm not talking
There's
about.
a difference, Paul.
I'm not talking about low as in sort of mental mood.
What
I'm
I
talking
talk
about low as in sort of energy and impetus and
No, I'm
sort
fine
of things like
energy-wise,
that.
thank you.
Oh.
I'm fine energy-wise. I've had a very energetic week. What I'm saying is, I'm just a little bit sick of working full-time.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. That's it. But it's been cold.
Oh, it's been very cold.
So let's lead into Richard and Paul's weather report.
It's been cold.
It's been cold.
And again, it's been cold for the UK.
Yeah.
We've had a week of weather which is much colder than we normally get at this time of year. From sort of today onwards, it gets a little bit warmer. And I think tomorrow, Sunday, because this is recorded Saturday, Sunday, I think we're going to get to about 11 or 12 degrees, which is sort of our 8 to 12 degrees in normal weather for this time of year during the day. But we've had days this week that haven't gone above 0 or 1 or 2 degrees, which is just balmy. It really is.
Balmy?
Yeah, balmy,
balmy.
balmy, B-A-R-M-Y rather than B-A-L-M-Y.
Mentally crazy.
Yeah.
Rather than physically warm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But I do believe that tomorrow is going to be the dizzying heights of around 13 degrees.
Well, yeah, I sort of just said that.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't listening.
No, you weren't, were you?
I was in my own little world.
I think I said 12 maybe, and you just added an extra
I was
degree.
literally in my own world. I was actually in my own world while you were talking.
Something happened this week with one of our friends, and she's on Virgin Media, and she also has an O2 mobile phone, just like I do. And I said to her many, many years ago that she could get special offers by putting the two. No, because no, you don't. Yes, you do, but it doesn't count.
Why do I get emails from 3?
No, because you've got a 3 phone, and I've got 3. Anyway, so this is it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. People not actually listening to what I'm saying and going off at tangents. So I've said to her for like 2 years, you can get a discount on this, and you can get double that and 3 months of, Disney or whatever. And then she suddenly said to me yesterday that she'd been on the phone for 50 minutes to Virgin, and because she's got an O2 phone, she can get all these add-on benefits. And I said to her, but I told you that several times over the last sort of 2 or 3 years. To which she said, oh, well, I should listen to you more. I think that is very true. People should listen to me more. People...
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, yeah. Yeah.
Paul, I listen to you every single day of our lives.
31 years almost.
I always listened. Well, I'm not saying I've listened to you for 31 years.
I know you haven't. You've mostly listened to me for about 3 hours of that 31 years.
I don't think so. I listen to you 3 hours every single day when you're going yada yada yada, complaining about everything all of the time.
No, I'm not. I don't. I have a whinge. We all have whinges, don't we?
Too frequent a whinge for my liking.
So anyway, yes, the weather has been cold, and we've had quite a few hard frosts. In fact, I think every day has been a hard frost throughout this week, apart from this morning.
There was a slight frost this morning. A slight frost.
Slight frost, yeah.
Very slight.
A touch of frost.
A touch of frost, indeed.
Because, of course, that is a saying that my mum and dad used to use regularly.
But, of course, well, my mum and dad used to say Jack Frost has visited.
Oh, yeah.
I used to love seeing the patterns that you only get at certain times, in certain conditions, where you get those fern-like patterns.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Where it literally... actually looks like somebody has painted patterns in the frost. I love that. Don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
And then you get those hoarfrosts, which are the really dry frosts. I like those as well. I really like those. I don't think we've had one this week, but almost. It was Jack Frost sort of very spindly and sort of spider-like.
Yeah, with a sort of spiky sort of hair. All silvery and icy, and he would leap across the rooftops, sprinkling
silver dust of coldness across everywhere.
My overriding memory from childhood of frost is one morning going out into the fields and the wood, not far from the house, and there used to be sort of areas of bogginess and a little woodland and lots of grasses.
Like tufts of grass.
Well, it was a boggy area, sort of marshy. And going out there in the middle of winter, early morning, just before the sun came up, so it must have been very early, I must have sought permission to go, and seeing the sun rise, well, it wouldn't have been that early, but seeing the sun sort of peep up and hit all the frost. Everything was white and everything was sparkling, and I can remember, I must have been 8 or 9, maybe slightly younger, because we were allowed out at that age.
Yeah,
I used to go on 8-mile bike rides.
Well, we did. I mean, in Guernsey it was difficult because 8 miles is from one end of the island to the other. But
we used to cycle to Alderley Edge, which was about 8 miles away, and cycle back. But anyway, and I remember walking around this little woodland and seeing everything sparkling. And I remember thinking, this is magical. So magical. And I was just awestruck. Yeah. Very strong memory.
You see, in Guernsey,
You didn't have any frosts.
We didn't really have frosts. I mean, it would get cold, and sometimes there would be a frost because the dew would freeze a little bit. But it was only in certain sort of hollows of the island. It wasn't something overall, because, you know, it's such a small island surrounded by water, surrounded by seawater, salty water. So that's warmer, and, you know, it never got so cold as to be like that in Guernsey. Snow was something which was really rare. I mean, there were a couple of occasions where we got blanketed in snow. I think twice in maybe 30 years, something like that. But yeah, I did. I mean, that's why I love snow and ice and that crunch beneath your feet, because we didn't really have that in Guernsey.
We always had snow. Virtually every winter at some point we'd have some snowfall. And I remember in childhood having at least a couple of winters with significant snowfall. And when I say significant, you know, we're talking a couple of feet, and we're talking the kind of snow that freezes, it snows again, it freezes again, and you're off school for 2 weeks because the boiler is broken.
Right, yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that happened regularly, and we would be out in the snow all day.
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as you're...
pouring water on footpaths to slide on.
Yeah, so that they would
building
partially
slides. Yeah, but you'd pour water down and you'd make a slide, an ice slide, because it would freeze pretty quickly. You know, of course, the parents, we used to get rather annoyed.
Because people would fall over.
People would fall over, but we wouldn't fall over because we would do what was called a granny.
A what?
We'd do a granny.
What's that?
It's where you run along, and then when you get to the ice slide, you crouch down to slide along, and that's called a granny.
I think if I did that, because I'm top heavy, I'd go spinning.
Well, the whole point of it was that actually it was better, because if you fell, you didn't hurt yourself.
Oh, right, fair
because
enough.
you were lower
down by the ground.
You crouched right down.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were going to the wetland centre that day, and
Paul, no, that was traumatic. When you fell over.
Yeah.
But you didn't slip on ice.
I didn't. I went hurtling towards a metal fence. Yeah.
You had quite a bit of momentum because of your backpack.
Yeah, I had
screamed.
You did, yeah.
Paul, no.
I had our backpack, or my backpack on, and I had our sandwiches in it, and I had a flask full of liquid, obviously, full of our drink and various things, because it was cold.
Yeah, all right.
Just top heavy. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sympathy.
I don't think I get. I don't get much sympathy in this house.
You had a lot of sympathy from me that day.
No, I think you had fear in your eyes, and I think as you saw me hurtling at the side of a busy road towards a metal fence, I thought your first thought was, "Is he insured?" And of course, the answer was yes.
Well, no, I was already dialing the ambulance.
I think you were.
I realised you didn't need it.
Oh, it's a good thing I went towards the fence rather than the road, that's all I can say.
Yeah, you'd have been dead.
Yeah.
And I'd have been rich.
Well, maybe not rich, but...
Well, I hope so.
The mortgage would have been paid off, that's for sure.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, where were we? Cold, yes.
No, we've done the cold, Paul.
It's getting warmer. It's getting warmer. And when I look at the long-range weather forecast, really sort of throughout the rest of January and into February, it looks as though our daily temperature is around 6 to 12, 13 degrees, and it touches 0 at night a couple of times, but you know, that's what we would expect. So yeah, right. Back to normal.
Let's move on now.
Oh, moving on.
Because honestly, Paul, you do go on.
I do, yeah, I do.
So
I can very often go to Lidl and then be coming back and bump into somebody, and Richard will see me he's got a tracker, so he knows where I am on my phone. So he'll see me at the top of the road for like 20 minutes.
I'm thinking there's something wrong with this. Refresh. Still there in the same spot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're there for so long it goes offline.
Does it? Oh dear, yeah.
Anywho, so in other weather news for the UK, we have a storm on the way, Storm Isha. That's I-S-H-A, Isha.
Who's that been named by?
I don't know.
Island?
I don't know.
Sounds Irish, doesn't it?
Does it?
Storm Isha.
No, I've never heard Isha from Ireland.
Isha from Ireland?
Oh, you've never heard Isha from Ireland? No, no, no. I don't think it is Irish. It's coming in from the Atlantic pool on the jet stream.
Yeah, well, it's more likely to be. I suppose it could be
Coming in from the
Finnish
US,
or
I
something.
would have. Finnish across the Atlantic.
Yeah, but it changes its name, doesn't it?
Oh,
because if it starts in a, sort of America side, it has a name,
and then when it gets the Americans that have named it.
No, we don't get American names.
Why not?
Because as soon as they sort of cross over, they come into sort of Irish or British territory. They get names. We take on European names and things.
Well, normally it's a classic Irish name like Kieran or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you will actually be able to tell because they do go up. The letters start each year at A and then go up. So we would be able to work that backwards. Or just look up on Google.
No, I ain't got time for that malarkey. I've got better things to do, which is why we need to move on with this show.
Yeah, so we've got a storm coming in.
Storm coming in with winds of in excess of 70 miles an hour on exposed coasts.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get that here, but I think we're 50 miles an hour here.
Well, it's only a couple of weeks ago since we had Storm Doodah.
Well, we did have really bad wind one day when there wasn't a storm at all. Do you remember that? We just went, why has it got so windy? This wasn't forecast.
Well, I had bad wind last week from those butter beans, darling, you'll find. In excess of 50 miles an hour. Anywho,
so we've had to cancel our wassail at the allotment tomorrow.
That means all the harvests will fail.
No, we're going to do it in a couple of weeks' time, hopefully. A bit late for a wassail. But it seems sensible because we've got really tall poplars around the boundary of the allotment site, and you don't want one of those branches to have weakened and that be the time where the branch falls and hits somebody on their head.
No, because not everybody's insured.
Well, the thing is, we wouldn't be, at our allotment we're all insured, so whatever happens there within reason, we're insured. But if we have an event when there's actually a yellow weather warning for wind, which there is...
Is that a contravention of the Doodah and Lala?
It would mean that the insurance is invalid, so we've had to postpone it. Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah. And also we have Jerry Edwards from the Royal Horticultural Society. He does our wassail. So, having somebody coming in to the site to do something,
is he a registered wassailer then, Paul?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he does his wassailing with his
thing?
rags and his mama hat. Yeah.
His what hat?
Mama hat.
Mama hat.
Yeah. it's very sort of, it's pagan. So, yeah. And then next week, at For Earth's Sake, we've got Hook Eagle Morris doing a wassail in the orchard at For Earth's Sake, which is a very young orchard. It's only been planted up for 2 years. So yeah, that will be fun. That's on Sunday.
That's if the orchard doesn't get blown away in the meantime by Storm Isha.
Because we planted the trees really well.
Oh good, that's nice. So, I've been doing lots of housework today, haven't I, Paul?
You've been doing washing.
Yes, lots of washing.
And you've done the windows. We did have ice on the inside of windows, which have we had ice on the inside of windows here before?
Once before.
Once before. When I lived in Limpsfield Chart, we lived in a this is when I was 1920. We lived in a house that had leaded windows. Boy, that used to get cold, and there was ice on each of the individual panes of lead leaded glass.
We had ice on the windows when we were kids.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
in the 70s.
We didn't in Guernsey really,
because everything was single glazed. You couldn't afford double glazing. It was only rich people that had double glazing. You know, and heating. The 70s was like the 2020s, frankly.
The lino in my bedroom would get really cold.
Well,
in the winter in
we
Guernsey.
didn't have lino.
You had carpet.
Yeah.
We had lino in the extension, which was where the guests stayed, and
but
there
we had
was
concrete
rugs.
floor downstairs.
Gosh,
that's
yeah.
With carpet on top.
We used in the summer when it was absolutely full of guests. We used to sleep. My brothers and I used to be decanted to the garage.
In the garage.
Yeah, we used to sleep in beds in the garage, so that our beds, because they were. I think it was a 3-bedroom house, and then there were 3 bedrooms in the extension where the guests stayed. But if it was really busy, we'd be decanted from our bedrooms, and those bedrooms would have guests in as well.
Me and my friend in childhood, we used to camp in her garage.
It's quite fun.
We camped in my tent, and then we used to camp in her garage. We were little kids. We were tiny little kids. They'd be checking on us every 5 minutes. Are you all right? Do you want to come inside? We were like, no, it's fine. And we were having fun, having a laugh. Yeah. Oh, good times. Anyway, Paul, we need to move on with the show now.
I remember an amazing thunderstorm when we were in the garage one day, and that was fabulous. And my brother Martin, he put the garage door up so that we could sort of watch it. So, yeah, that was fun.
Oh, how lovely, Paul. Anyhow, let's move on. You've had a few challenges this week, Paul, haven't you?
Oh, I have.
Are you going to tell us? Make it interesting.
Well, no, it's just sort of how things are nowadays. I needed to be added to the Allotment Association bank account as a signatory, and just something which would be relatively simple. Sort of years ago, you would go into your local branch, you'd have the paperwork, you'd have your ID, you'd sign a bit of paperwork, you'd go away, and within a matter of days you'd all be signed up, And now you've got to do it online, you've got to do it through the phone as well. I had to phone up and give certain details, I had to do certain details online, I had to upload my passport and things like that. And of course there's all these sort of checks that get done nowadays. And then I was receiving letters through. I received 4 copies of the same letter on the same day. Exactly the same letter, no difference. And then it said, you have to go to the Barclays website and do this. So I went to the bit that they said, the domain link that they said. No, nothing about signing up. Absolutely nothing. And then when I phoned up and spoke to them, they said, oh no, it's recently changed. Well, when did it change? Oh, about a year ago. Well, that's not recent. You sent me a letter.
And the punchline is?
Well, no, it's just all of these things are just so frustrating. I mean, I know Vivi finds, much new technology frustrating, but I'm sort of joining with Vivi on certain things, which sometimes you use something online that makes your life so much simpler. It's like, God, why is everyone not doing this? And then you work with a company like Barclays, which is so enormous and is international, and everything just doesn't work. It doesn't marry up, And we're also building a new shop website for her sake, and it's just so complicated what we have to do to get all our products up there and get them active. And then I've suddenly realised that you need to check another box somewhere else to make sure we get the orders through. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm getting old. I think at 57, going on 58, I think technology is beginning to get to me.
Oh, can you go on?
I could just about go on.
Well, the easy way to cut out these things from your life is to cut out those things from your life.
Well, yeah, but cutting out for her sake.
Don't get involved. No, the other thing, just don't get. You're not involved in the plot management anymore.
No, but
Paul.
being a signatory is fine.
No, cut it out. Give it up. Don't do it.
So anyway,
I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't,
No.
because you're a selfish brat.
No, because
So
I already give back to the community through my work.
you do.
Because
yes.
I work for a
You do.
community team.
You
the
do.
answer's in the question.
You do, and
No.
also, you know, having a disability yourself, I think it's great that
I
you
am
do your
disabled,
job.
Paul. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm partially blind in one eye.
No.
I've been fined.
So there we are. It all fits the bill. Yeah. But no, it's these things are just frustrating. That's all.
Oh, thanks for sharing.
Well, you know, and then suddenly you
Bringing
get a
everybody
eureka
else
moment.
down.
You get that eureka moment where you suddenly realise, oh, this is what I've got to do.
Move on. Move
It's
on.
sort of a bit of trial and
Move
error.
on, because this show is not a long one this
No,
week.
it's not. No.
So
no.
let's move on to the final segment.
What have we been watching this week?
What have we been watching this week? Well, we finished a couple of the Marlon Crowbar series.
Harlan Coben.
Harlan
yeah.
Coben, that's it. I can never remember his name. Yeah. The other thing about the cold weather, just before we do...
Oh,
move on,
you're not going back to that.
it's all the bloody clothes you've got to wear.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're in Victorian society.
Yeah.
I accidentally weed on a pashmina the other day.
What? Because you didn't get your trousers down quick enough.
No.
Oh, well, why did you wee
Well,
on the pashmina?
Well, I mean, one's not going to take all one's clothes off to go and have a wee. And being a man of a certain age, one likes to sit down and wee.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was sat down to have a wee, and one of my pashmina fronds was dangling between my legs. I didn't know. And I weed on my pashmina.
He often gets his tangles in his soup as well at lunchtime.
Yeah, not
You're
the
like
same,
an old man.
Not the same
really.
pashmina.
You really
though.
are.
I didn't get the wee pashmina in the soup. No. Well, I had to wash. Well, I haven't washed it yet. Actually, I let it dry, and I'm going to wash it with my pashminas. But I know that's the thing. I feel like I'm having to get dressed several times a day.
It's the tucking in that.
Well, it's the getting out of bed, putting clothes on top of your pyjamas. Then it's getting all those things off and getting dressed in another set of clothes with another set of thermals to go to work, because I don't want to wear the thermals that I was wearing in bed to go to work in. I know. Then you've got to wash and get cold, and then get dressed again, and then you come home from work, you've got to get changed again into another several layers, and then put something warm on top, and then something on top of that. I mean, I've got 10 layers on as it is. And then you've got scarves and gloves and slippers and socks and 2 pairs of leggings. I mean, it's like being in the Victorian age. You know, when you see those videos where I'm going to dress like a Victorian gentleman, and he wears all the layers and the buttons and the corsets and things.
Did gentlemen wear corsets?
Well, whatever, breeches and
I think we would have done.
waistcoats
Yeah.
and things.
And
but it's just
crinolines.
ridiculous. But anyway, on to what have
But
we
no,
watched
it's the
on
tucking in, because you've
television?
got your sort of thermal top into your knickers, then you've got your
Oh, I don't
thermal
do all of
leggings
that.
over that, then you've got
No.
your t-shirt over that,
No.
then you've got what's it on top of that, and then you've got your jumper on top of that.
I don't tuck in.
And it keeps it all sort of, you know, warm. It keeps the air close to you.
I should have tucked my pashmina in, then I wouldn't have weed on it.
No, you wouldn't have done.
Anyhow. So, this week, yes,
Harlan Coben.
Harlan Coben.
So we finished off Stay Close.
Yes, we did.
Really enjoyed that.
Oh my god, it's thrilling. I love these shows now.
Well, I've always loved them.
Isn't it funny how they're all set, when they're filmed in England, they're all set in super big posh houses.
They are, yeah.
Everybody's got a big posh house in a gated community.
And their kitchen is about
Kitchens
the
are
size of a
massive.
field.
Kitchens are the size of our downstairs,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
with a huge island. They've all got... I mean, it's totally unrealistic. But of course, anything else set in smaller homes is generally Coronation Street and EastEnders.
It is.
That's
yeah.
the reflection of normal people's lives like ours.
And have you noticed they've all
Without
got
the drama.
They've all got knife blocks. They've all got knives very, to hand.
So anyway, we
Ours
finished,
are in drawers, you see.
finished Stay Close.
Started and finished The Stranger.
Also very, very good.
I think Stay Close and The Stranger, I enjoyed both of those more than Fool Me Once.
Oh, I liked Fool Me Once.
I think Stay Close and The Stranger are all knitted together really well, where there were loose ends with Fool Me Once.
And we've started,
in my opinion.
We've started Safe.
Yeah.
Which is another Marlon Globetrotter.
Harlan Coben.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the one that absolutely loves all of these things, and he's sort of coming home now going, are we going to watch another Harlan Coben tonight?
I was only attracted to them because of Joanna Lumley in
Fool Me Once.
Eat Me Now, whatever it's called. Fool Me Once. I was only attracted to that because of her, and I wanted to watch it because she was in it. And that got me hooked.
And of course Jennifer Saunders was in
Jennifer
Stranger.
Saunders, oh my god! Yeah, that was... I'm not going to say anything in case you've not seen it.
I think Safe came first, and the other three have really been quite cast up, I think.
Well, they're all people we know. You know, Doodah in
And
La
La.
What's her name? Siobhan... Not Siobhan. Is it Siobhan Finneran?
There we are. Yeah, all
From
these people
Benidorm.
we know.
The woman
From
Benidorm.
Benidorm.
Is
Yeah.
it Siobhan
Yeah,
Finneran
I
or
can't
Sharon
remember.
I don't know.
Siobhan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a good actress.
Yeah.
So anyway, Doodah La, woo! We also continue with Vera. Have you murdered somebody, love? Because if you have, I'll find out.
You were a bit happier in that last episode because there was quite a lot of interview things going on.
It was
wasn't there?
little bit grittier. I like my Veras to be a bit gritty.
Yeah, he likes gritty Vera.
I mean, the Harlan
Coben.
Moban.
Yeah, what about them?
I'm
Carry
stuck.
on. You just, yeah.
I
you don't
glitched.
find them gritty?
No.
Oh.
Poor. I'll never finish. No, they are quite dark in many ways because you can guarantee somebody you like is going to die.
Well, usually, yeah.
A character that you're really enjoying dies, and usually in quite a horrible way. And it's all about angst, angst to the max, which I'm not normally into. I like fluffy bunnies and kittens normally.
These are fluffy bunnies and kittens with knives and guns. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really getting off on it at the moment. Maybe I'm yearning excitement and thrills in
Maybe, yeah. You won't get any from me, no.
Exactly. Maybe we need a good old-fashioned murder in the area.
Oh no, I don't want that. A person was murdered. When I had my office in Wardour Street, the local sandwich shop, he was murdered. The guy that did that downstairs and one number over, and that was sort of horrific.
Well, we did have a murder here. That was quite horrific.
What, here?
Remember,
oh no, we did. Yeah,
we
here.
did a good few years ago, and that was quite challenging.
That was.
I have to say, I was challenged at work by that as well because I had Sky News trying to creep onto the premises to do filming.
Well,
I told them off. I went out there and said, "Excuse me, get off these premises. This is a registered care home." And then they came back the next day, the production manager, and came to the door and said, "Can we launch a drone from your car park?" I said, "Certainly not. Certainly not. Absolutely not." So, yeah, chased them off with a flea in the rear.
Well done.
Well, I had to. And it was the time before we had a barrier fence between us and the allotments. And of course, the victim's body was found just beyond the allotments, across the river. Oh yeah, it was a dark time.
Yeah,
it was a dark time. Let's not dwell.
Yeah.
So
terrible tragedy for that family.
And that's the thing. But that's the thing, isn't it? You watch those Marlon Doodars, Harlan Coben. Just can't get the name right. You watch those things, and it's all excitement as a viewer. But actually, if you were to be in that position,
horrific.
It would be the worst thing in the world. So isn't it funny how we enjoy watching a fictitious murder mystery unfold? Isn't it weird how we enjoy that? And I guess it's because we know it's not real, but we know in life that these kind of things happen to people.
Yeah.
And we're still fascinated by it by looking at things like the news.
Yeah,
so what is it about the human brain that seems to require that voyeuristic thrill?
I don't know.
I wonder what it is.
I don't know. It's mostly that sort of fear and excitement that you used to get going out hunting and
fight or flight thing, adrenaline thing without the actual danger, the thrill of the hormonal charge without the danger.
Possibly, Richard.
I'm going to talk to one of the psychologists at work to find out exactly why we are so fascinated with voyeuristic violence and murder.
But it's interesting. All those sort of thrillers I absolutely adore. When it comes to this, this thriller is based on a true story, I'm sort of a bit, no, not interested. And I think it goes with that. I think it's because if it's all sort of, fiction, I'm with it. But if it's fact and I know that that character has gone through traumatic things, then yeah, I don't want to relive that with them.
You mean the real person, not character?
No, the character playing that real person or that it's based on. I then feel that trauma that person is going through. It's why I don't like these pranks that people play on those, those short things, the scroll things.
What pranks?
People play pranks on people, and I don't like. I like innocent pranks. I don't like pranks where somebody is made a fool of, or they're
I
sort
think
of
some
hurt.
people can genuinely be traumatised by some of those.
Well, exactly.
I saw that one where they had it was somebody going into an interview in a tower block. So they're going to an interview, and behind the interviewer is the window. But it's actually not a window.
It's a screen.
It's a screen. And it's showing the city below. And then there's like this disaster that starts unfolding, like a nuclear war or something.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and they're both on the floor screaming. You know, and it's like, that would... I'm actually smiling because I think I probably laughed at it, but that would traumatise me.
It would. I mean, it's a bit... I've seen that thing where somebody goes into a portable loo and then they go and put a room around it, and when they come out of the portable loo, it's all white, the room, and there's stormtroopers there, from Star Wars.
There's a board meeting going on.
Yeah, I think that's sort of, innocent and funny. But having
they go back into the toilet, some of them. They shut the door and go back in, and I would say, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
You'd say something, wouldn't you?
Somebody being pranked when it's, and it could scar them. I'm not interested in.
There's some of those ones where they go into a lift, but it's not really a lift.
Right.
And it starts plummeting to the...
you see, that could give someone PTSD.
Well, it could trigger a heart attack.
Well, yeah, it could.
Couldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are funny,
there we are.
Paul.
Yeah, I think some of them are, but I think I look at things now very much from a sort of more of a director's perspective, and yeah, things just sort of annoy me.
Director's perspective.
Well, when the producer and the director saying, you know, really ramp it up, really make something of this. And I watch things now and I can really feel the production team telling people to ramp things up. And it's sort of like...
That's lovely. So other things we've watched this week, we continue with To the Manor Born. Fabulous. Love it. Love it. We also continue with the new series of Father Brown, which is warming up. Isn't it, Paul? It's warming up.
We've just watched a good episode over lunch today.
Well, it was light. It was light. It is lighter,
well,
I find.
It's afternoon fare.
But I
You still think it's lighter than it used to be?
I still miss Lady Felicia and Banter.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, I miss Mrs. McCarthy
and
most.
Mrs. McCarthy, of course.
I love
award-winning
strawberry scones.
We do continue with Bargain Hunt.
Did you see that in the news this week?
No, Bargain Hunt.
No, the word scone. Rachel Riley. Was it Rachel Riley or the other one?
Know.
Can't remember. From Countdown was asked whether it was scone or scone.
I don't know.
Something to do with the
Depends
TV programme. I think it depends where it's from, because where Mum was evacuated in Keighley in Yorkshire, she was with fish and chip shop owners. That's right. And a scone there was 2 slices of potato with some onion in the middle and battered and then deep fried, and that was a scone.
Lovely.
And people would have scone and chips.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you know, they might have corned beef in the middle or something, some fish or something. But it was basically, there was a cheap option, a sort of slightly more expensive option, but it was always cheaper than having fish and chips. And that was a scone, so we always called it scone. So, yeah.
You always called it scone?
We always called a fruit
a sweet
scone.
One. A scone.
Yeah. Rather than scone. Yeah.
So,
how did I get onto that?
I don't know, Paul. You just plucked it from the ether, like you do normally with most things. So we do continue with Bargain Hunt of a lunchtime.
Oh yeah, it's so annoying.
Oh, it's totally annoying. But I've worked out why I like watching it.
Why?
Because I like shouting at them.
Oh yeah, he does shout.
I think it releases some of my tension from the work day. Shouting at the stupid people. There's a bit of Kath and Kim there.
There is, yeah.
Because they're just useless. Even the so-called experts don't seem to be able to estimate anything.
Absolutely. There was one this week. He said, well, I estimate this will make between £40 and £80 at auction. How much did you pay for it? £80. Why would you buy something that you think could make less than half what you bought it for?
Because that's not a bargain.
You do brandish your tortilla, don't you?
It's not a bargain.
No, it's not. But he does, because he has his salted tortillas after he's had lunch, and he'll brandish his tortilla.
I will. I'll shake my tortilla at them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. We also watched another episode of Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
And I noticed she did her royal walkabout this week, didn't she?
Did she?
Fiona.
Did she?
Looking. Hello. What pile of crap have you bought? Brought. What pile of rubbish have you brought with you? Let's look at your tat.
Yeah.
I mean, people have got literally a Moulinex blender.
Yeah, as an antique.
At the Antiques Roadshow. I mean, you know.
Well, this isn't quite an antique because it was sort of made in 1970. Mind you, that's 53 years ago. That's halfway to being an antique, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyhow, itch. That's it for this week's show. We've got to go and...
Haven't we watched something else?
Because there's shit to do.
Haven't we watched something else?
No, that's it. Everything on the list. All the Harlon crowbar things and everything else. Thank you. So, bloody thank you for watching.
Oh, Loudermilk.
Oh, Louder. Oh, no, I can't watch it.
I like Loudermilk. I love it. I think it's so funny.
Wall.
Yeah, it's quite tense, but yeah, funny.
No, you see, I find it perverse that you like things like that, Paul.
Why?
I really do. I think it's satisfying some kind of sick curiosity.
Maybe it is. Yeah, maybe it is.
I think your life is lacking in something, Paul, for you to enjoy those kind of things.
I have a cherished life in many ways, but I have a life that lacks in others. Yes. Yeah.
You're not meant to agree with me on that. I think we have a very full life, Paul, and we should be grateful for everything.
I didn't say I wasn't grateful.
Every last little bean we should be grateful for.
Were you grateful for those butter beans?
I was, because actually at one point it actually propelled me up the stairs. It's like a jetpack. It's like a jetpack. Almost fell out of bed at one point. I didn't need a hot water bottle that night. No, there was plenty of methane.
Oh, dear.
Should have a sign on the bed saying no naked flames. Let's go now.
Oh dear.
And do other things.
Bananas.
Bananas, tits and bums.
I like my hair at the moment. It's feeling very soft, really.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Need to cut.
And it's just been cut, Paul, last week.
It needs a little bit more size.
We'll just chop some bits off then, for goodness sake. Stop fussing around. Mine's a right mess. It needs a good bloody wash.
Yours looked really good the other day. It was sort of like a flock of seagulls, sort of, but it was like a flock of seagulls, but waved up. It was quite impressive. No, it was.
I'll be wearing a hat this week, so it's a bit flat now.
Oh, you have, haven't you? Yeah, woolly hat. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been cold. Very cold. Did we say that earlier? It's been very cold.
But it's getting milder now.
Yeah. Shush now, Paul. God's sake. Bye.
Bye. I think I've got a eyelash in my eye.
Bye. I'm cutting you off now.
Bye.